Hey, so we're live now, and in today's episode, what I would like to talk to you about is should you be streaming live? Because is it even good for your channel? That's something we're going to be talking about. Hey, 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 how's everyone doing? And today I would like to talk about this whole discussion about whether if live streaming is going to be good or bad for your channel. Now, before we get into that, I think a few things I want to point out to you here today. Number one is I just received, or rather, the package for my new microphone just arrived, and so I am giving it a spin right now. And so, really, let me know, what do you think about the quality of the audio? Because this is a camera that, or rather, this is a microphone that I bought, which is fairly cheap. And I must say that in terms of the review, it seemed to have very good review itself. And so I want to see, how does it work for me and how does it sound? So if you have, you know, comments, if at all, share with me in the comment, and I'll be more than glad to share with you what's the brand of this particular microphone itself. But first up, I'd like to warmly welcome you today. It's 1st of August. It's a great day because so much has happened in the last month or so in terms of, when we talked about the idea of going live and streaming and all that stuff, in case you didn't know, I started to made this commitment of doing a live stream every day, right? To do this live stream every day since May 28th. Yes, May 28th, that was the first time where I started live streaming. And in fact, one of the things that I did was I was saying that, well, I could wait until I have all my gears ready before I start live streaming, or I could simply get started with what I have, and then along the way to perfect my craft and to learn from other people, and also to save up, get some new contracts, and then use some of the money that I get from the new contracts to procure additional equipment. And I think I'm at this point whereby I am pretty satisfied with the equipment that I've gotten. I didn't spend a lot of money on the equipment, but I did make some new purchases, and I think those are pretty good, pretty decent. In fact, I discovered this new brand. It's not top of the range. I mean, I could go crazy and just buy the best equipment, but I find that there is no need to splurge on that kind of equipment itself, because at its point in time, I think if I could get all the equipment that I need for less than $100, I think that's something that really is going to be affordable. At the same time, when people look at this, I also intend to get more people to want to embrace this whole idea of live streaming, right? Of course, it's going to be quite challenging for some people because A, you are probably not comfortable being live, and B, you may have to deal with quite a fair bit of tech. And so for some of us, this may not be something that we are actually very, very comfortable with. But for the rest of us who are willing to, take plunge, I think it is something worthwhile considering. And so I really want to share with you what I have and the tools that I have. So if you're interested in knowing what are the tools that I use for live streaming, because right now I actually found a way to simulcast to two channels. So both my YouTube as well as Facebook, I'm able to do a simulcast to both channel using just one camera, right? And I'm not using any additional software to kind of do that. I'm just using the Blackmagic A10 Mini, which I bought. And yes, it was a little expensive, but I felt that it was a good investment because not only can I use it for my live streaming, I could use it for producing some of the live stream that I have been contracted to do. That's one. The other thing is in my training itself, that's something that I could also use. And this would dramatically change the way that the whole my whole training is being done. So that's something that I really look forward to be doing more of. So yes, it cost me a bunch of money, but I think the investment is well worth it. Now today, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about this idea of it's live streaming good or bad for your channel. Now the context of it is really the following. Some people are arguing that because YouTube algorithm, mind you, I mean, and anyone could talk about the algorithm all day, but I can tell you, no one really knows what the algorithm is, right? Because if anyone knew, then we would be able to get around the algorithm. But we can only guess from all the videos that we put out, the live streams that we put out, and then from there we are able to make an educated guess. And so that's pretty much what it is. So the idea behind that is that it is bad for your channel because it looks at during the time that the video was being put out, how many views were there. And so if the views were low, then YouTube is not likely to want to push it out to more people, right? So to get it organically discovered on YouTube itself, unless you have a huge audience, it is probably not going to be very helpful, right? So that is the idea behind it. So bearing in mind that if you have, let's say, 100 subscribers on your channel, and when you go live at any one point in time, you only get like one or two people watching it, then what it's telling YouTube is that, hey, based on this person's list of subscribers, only a very, very small percentage, right? In this case, just 2% of the audience is interested in the live stream. Hence, YouTube's algorithm may perceive that as it doesn't seem very interesting compared to someone else who have, let's say, 100 subscribers, and when he or she does the live stream, you get like 50 people viewing it at any one point in time. And that may communicate to YouTube's algorithm that, hey, this person's live streaming is interesting, and perhaps it is something that it's worthwhile to push it out to the organic reach, which means people who are interested in similar type of videos should get to see this video being pushed out itself. If that makes sense, right? I hope that makes sense to you. So one of the things that when I was reading on the internet was that I was trying to see what people were talking about live streaming, because this is something that I have taken it upon myself to do more of. and to better my skills in terms of live streaming itself. And so one thing to really look at it is that let's look at how easy it is to do a live stream. In the past, I think to do a live stream on your mobile device on YouTube, that was incredibly difficult because I think you need to have a minimum number of subscribers before you are able to stream live from your mobile device. But now that limitation, I believe, has been taken away. And so literally anyone with at least 100 subscribers would be able to have that as an option itself. Now, that being said, assuming all things being equal, which means you can live stream on Facebook as well as live stream on YouTube. Why is it that you would prefer to live stream on YouTube and not Facebook? I think at the end of the day, the fundamental difference or the criteria for that decision comes down to this. We are looking at where's your audience. So if your audience are going to be on Facebook, then obviously it makes sense for you to be on Facebook. If your audience is going to be on YouTube, then of course it makes sense for you to be on YouTube, right? And of course, if your audience is going to be on LinkedIn, then obviously the best place to go is to go on LinkedIn. Okay, so that kind of makes sense from there. Now, the thing is that it will be good for you to look at it from the point of view whereby you want to ask yourself, what exactly do you want to do with the videos after that, right? What exactly do you want to do with the videos after that? So point number one is that I think on YouTube, the way to go live, it's probably a little bit more complex for most people compared to going live on the Facebook. I mean, Facebook, anybody could go live. Of course, the kind of a problem is that most of the time when people go live, they are actually doing it on the vertical format, and so that's not typically very, very good. And so that is something that needs to be think about. So in terms of ease of use, I think YouTube it's not a platform that's very good for that. Now, the next thing that I think we have to ask ourselves is that what is bad about going live on YouTube itself? Well, I think for the most part, going live on YouTube, it's a bit more complicated, and it probably requires a bit more of a setup because there are so many things to take into consideration, right? Like, for example, you want to make sure that your video is good enough, of a good enough quality, how much bitrate you are going to be streaming at, and all that stuff. It may be a little bit overwhelming for most people itself. So I think that's the part that is not so good. Now, the other thing that I think what we're going to ask is that, what are we going to do with the videos after that? Now, here's the part where I would say that live streaming on YouTube is a lot better, because for the very simple reason is because when your video it's done on YouTube, that video stays on YouTube, and it doesn't suffer from the recency criteria as opposed to on Facebook. And so on Facebook itself, if that content it's older, what typically happens is that Facebook it's not going to be pushing that out so much more. So there is an element of what they call decay, which means if that video is a lot older compared to another video that is a bit newer, the newer video usually gets preference compared to the older video. All right, I hope that makes sense. I mean, I know it sounds a little technical, but it's simply what it's saying is that you need to look at Facebook like a news channel. So anything that is old news, it gets pushed down. Anything that is latest news, it gets pushed up. All right. I hope that makes sense. Now, whereas for YouTube, it's more like an archive. So it's not so much in terms of the recency. Of course, recency does play a part because no one wants to watch a video that was done 10 years ago about online marketing, right? I mean, so many things have changed. But all that being equal, assuming we're talking about something that is as evergreen as business fundamentals, then YouTube is probably going to do better because it is something that doesn't discriminate so much in terms of the recency. So YouTube is not so much like a news channel, but it is more like a video network. And so the video network would depends on which video it's more popular, and that video gets pushed up, right? So if you have two videos, one is newer, one is older, but the older one is more popular than the newer one, the one that is more popular get pushed up more than the one that is newer but is less popular, right? So in that sense, YouTube makes more sense itself. Now, so the other thing that you would want to consider is that on YouTube and on Facebook, which one allows you to monetize? Now, there's two ways to look at this because, very interestingly, the way I look at it is that yes, on YouTube, you get the opportunity to monetize your video, but that's it only if you have hit a certain milestone whereby you are able to turn on AdSense for your video itself. Now, you and I know how annoying it can be, and so if you ask me, I would be holding back as far as I can to not monetize that way because when someone goes to my channel to watch a YouTube video, I don't want them to be watching some other ads, annoying ads, for example. And sometimes those ads are truly so annoying. You keep seeing them over and over again, and it just bugs you. So you do not want people to have that less than positive feeling when before they even consume your content. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. So I'm really looking at it from the point of view of, if you like, the the whole experience itself. Okay, so the experience on YouTube, I think, is a lot less desirable compared to the experience on Facebook. Now, Facebook, although it doesn't allow you to monetize it, but what it does allow you to do, especially if you are doing a live stream from your Facebook page, it allows you to use that video as an ad. And I found that always to be tremendously interesting because the last couple of times, what I've done was that I've actually used that video on Facebook, and I use it for an ad to show to more people. So organically, I may not get that reach from Facebook itself, but what happened is that when I put in some ad dollars, an ad spend of let's say just $3 to $5 just to see how it goes, I get a lot more views from there, right? And I get more discoverability, and so that there is a way. I mean, that really tells me that there is a way to reach out to more people that I would have otherwise not have that reach if I'm on YouTube. So I think at the end of the day, the true thing here is to basically ask yourself, right? What exactly is your objective here? I mean, my objective is very, very clear. My objective is that I want to be able to use this platform to reach out to people, to share with them what I've been doing, what I have been doing to work towards my goal. And that goal of mine is to look at how I'm able to create a one person, 1 million, all things digital business, right? I mean, it can be done, but I do not want it to be a trading time for money business itself. So that's what I'm working towards. Now, if that is the case, then I think perhaps on Facebook might be a better choice because it allows you to do that ad, and so it allows you to reach out to more people, right? Share with me what you think and what your experience when it comes to using ads and all the good stuff, right? So please share with me, and it's something that I really really want to find out more of. And so if you have anything, any insights with that, whether you should be doing live streaming on Facebook or on YouTube, then drop me a line and let me know. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and this is Melvin Live Show. And please, give me feedback in terms of what do you think of the microphone. I have the microphone here in front of me. I'm pretty struck by it, but let me know what you think. All right. So I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye bye.